In this presentation, I'm going to talk about releasing the magic in people. I want to share the hard-earned lessons that I've learned on how to get the best out of people. How to get the best out of people. I've worked in Africa, I've worked in Europe, I've worked in the UK, I've worked in Asia. And these are things that I've found really do bring out the best in people. Interesting, I go across to have my hair cut in Farnham. I go to the establishment and they've got a sign there, happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. So often I find the organizations that know how to bring out the best in the people, there's this real link to happiness, but happiness is being an ongoing thing. But it's not just about being happy, it's about achieving things too, because you can't just be happy and run your organization down to nothing. You need to actually link it to success. Those four things were what I discovered as being the ingredients of a successful organization. And you can see there the head, the hands, the heart, and the passion. What I found out really was that the left-hand side is the left brain items, it's the logical things, and you've got to get it right. You've got to get those things right if you want to succeed. But the things that differentiate organizations and teams is the emotional side. If you can get the emotional going, the heart and the passion, that's when organizations come alive, where people give of their best because they love what they're doing. In order to bring out the best in people, it does take a different type of leader, an engaging leader. I think at one stage, carrot and stick worked. But after years of no inflation at all, salary increases are not exciting. And you've just got to pay people a fair wage. Get that off the table. And then concentrate on the things that motivate. Dan Pink in his book Drive talks about purpose, autonomy and mastery. If people work for things they believe in, if you give them the freedom to succeed and you grow their skills, that is what motivates people today. All of this sort of comes back to something I discovered 20 odd years ago, and that's emotional intelligence. If leaders have emotional intelligence, somehow it brings out the best in people. I think, many years ago we said these people have great people skills. But emotional intelligence is this knowing your emotions, able to control them, able to motivate yourselves and therefore motivate others, and having an understanding of other people's emotions. Build that into a model and you've got this. The heart of this model for leadership is emotional intelligence. That becomes the engine that fires up all other parts. So the four key skills of building trust, empathy, listening, thoughtful questioning, and constructive feedback are the skills that the leader uses in order to deliver the three key roles of leading and inspiring people, but managing to deliver, and then coaching, growing people and growing the organization. We put a lot of effort into training all of our leaders to become inspirational and engaging leaders. And it really, really paid off in terms of the organization, because it released something special in the organization in terms of the way people approached. But the other key part is to have a vision that really inspires. And Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, I think, is one of the most inspirational videos I've watched in the last few years. If you can get your vision to really address the why and the how, and here's why. The what is all about the rational side of the brain, whereas the why and the how is the emotional side, the limbic and amygdala. This is where the emotion is. There's no language. And this is where so often, this is where decisions are made. I work with canine partners, and it's a charity, a self-funded charity. There's not a huge amount of money. They have these dog trainers, and if you ask the dog trainers, what is it you do? They don't say train dogs. They say our job is to transform lives. They create these amazing dogs for handicapped people, and they do. They completely change people's lives. So have a vision that really brings out that magic in your people. In my own case, my vision is to release the magic. And I sometimes go into really difficult surroundings, and in my brain I'm saying, even though I feel nervous and I feel stressed, but I'm saying I'm here to release the magic in people so that they can achieve amazing things. How I do it, those are the things that I do. I dare people to come out of their sort of comfort zones. But in whatever I do in terms of challenging them, I will always support them. And I'll make what they learn easy so that they can actually use it and make a difference. And then excite them about it and energize them about the future rather than burdening them. And then help them to become the teachers so that they go on and teach others. I want to release the magic in people so that they release the magic in others. So that's my emotional vision that inspires me every day of my life. All that sort of starts to build into really good mutual trust where people are authentic, respectful, they're humble, they deal with their disagreements and contentious issues. They minimize politics. Banter is great and fun, but when it gets too much, it becomes borderline bullying. So you stop that. But you still have fun. But you build up your trust so people really trust one another. That's a real key ingredient if you want your organization to move on. What we've always used is what we call the support matrix, which is a mixture of encouragement and challenge. And there's sort of four key areas. Too much challenge is the stress box. Too much encouragement, not enough challenge is the cozy club. Where you need to get to is the loving boot. And that's a great place to be. That's where things happen. That's where magic happens, the loving boot. Because that's where great skills come out and great output comes out of any team, any organization. Aligning the goals. Aligning goals is a real key part. It can be as boring as hell as you do lots of job descriptions and you do multiple iterations and you try and get everyone online. I think it should be fun. And here's an example of a fun, emotional event that we use to pull together and get everyone aligned to the key goals. We needed to work out a plan to roll out learning centres across Europe. So all we did, we created a figure, clever bird, Claude. We got a group of people together that were all connected with learning centres. We had a 4-foot roll of white paper. We rolled it out across the wall. We got coloured pens. We got pastels. And we just brainstormed and had a huge amount of fun. But what we did is we pulled together a fantastic game plan. Everything you can see, the great arrow goes towards a single goal and then sub-goals, and then we understood the drivers that would actually trek us forward. And the end result of that, everyone was passionately connected to this plan, and we went on and achieved it. And it was done in minimal amount of time, maximum amount of fun, great emotion. So even goal-aligned should be something that has some emotional connotations. No one grow our skills. This is a real key part of sort of bringing out the best in your people. I discovered 70-20-10, 4 or 5 years ago. And what it is 10% of what we learn is through the formal process, 20% through people, social learning, role models, coaches, mentors, but 70% is learned by doing the job. So applying this, if the heart of it is performance management, because it should come down to performance, it should link to the performance in your organization, no matter how big or small. The 70-20 is something that you should build into your people development. Apply it. When you want someone to learn something, make sure that actually happens. But if you put it into a framework, a coaching culture or a performance coaching culture, that's when it really comes alive. We put a lot of effort into coaching. We taught all of our managers, then we taught all of our people all about coaching. I've been working with a school in the UK, small school, and we ran an inset day and taught everyone. Every teacher in the school had a coach and just did half a day. It doesn't have to be highly complicated. But if you create the environment where coaching thrives, coaching is just a key part of sort of bringing out, helping people to master their skills. When you look at training, so much of training gets wasted. A typical training course, you're lucky if people retain 20%. It's probably more like about 15%. If 15% of a conventional training course is all that sticks, you need something different if you want to get better value for your money. If you put coaching together with teaching, the guiding of self-discovery, what's happening is you continuing to increase the knowledge, you getting people to apply. What we found was a methodology we call LEAP. Learn something in small chunks, experiment and apply, that's the E. Then apply it in your job and develop a good habit. And then finally, continually develop your mastery. So that is our methodology. So do it in really small bits, try it out, apply it to your jobs and continue to improve. It's a different way of teaching people. But what happens is the retention is 80 to 90% of what you cover, because you cover it in little bits and then they're building it into whatever they do. The other thing we've concentrated on is getting people to have the right skills, because so often people arrive as young graduates or school leavers and they never learn life skills. So the first thing we do for young people is give them the life skills, give them the fundamentals of how they're going to succeed. Because if people don't know how to work within a team or don't know how to speak or manage their time badly, those are all basic things that people need to learn. So 8 skills for life, really key part of bringing out the best. We're actually working at the moment on developing this program to run for 6 forms in schools. Right, moving on to continuous performance improvement. I think just having the mindset that you need to continue to perform and improve your performance is a very important thing within an organization. And you can go into a huge amount of detail, or you can just get to the mindset. And the mindset is, in all that we do, it falls into those categories. Value-added activities are, if the customer or client knew about it, they'd be prepared to pay for it. Non-value-add activities is something that you can't avoid, but the customer wouldn't pay for it, and waste is waste. You should just get rid of it. Now, if you want to change the way you work, if you want to actually reach a point where you're actually doing more value-added activity and less waste, etc., the first thing you need to do is create capacity. And create capacity is start to eliminate waste. Have a waste sort of campaign, because the more you simplify work, the nicer it is to work, and the more it brings out the best in people. So reduce your non-value add activities to the essentials, make sure it's quicker, faster, and once you've got the capacity, then refocus and maximize the value you add. So if you have that mindset going on all the time, and I'm going to give you an example, a really simple example. We had an extension built by Castle Builders at Guildford, and they're brilliant. They were absolutely superb. This is what they did. I mean, value added. In other words, as the customer, I would be prepared to pay for this. They provided a fixed quote, not just an estimate. What they quoted is what you would pay. They provided an excellent architect, captured our exact requirements, superb craftsmen using high quality. All key skills were held within the team. So when they finished bricking, they put in their electricity. They didn't have to wait for anything. They moved on site and didn't leave until the job was done. They built our entire extension in 6 weeks. Other builders were quoting it would be about 13 weeks to do the job. And then they just put in helpful extras, USB plugs, sound panels. It was great stuff. Non-value add activities, I wouldn't play for this, but this is what they did. They minimized it, ordered exact quantities on a just-in-time basis. Great long-term relationship with specialist trades. So, for example, the guy that actually did all the plastering was fantastic. He was like almost a school friend. All their whole life had been with them. Minimized disruption of the household. They had a daily cleanup. Everything was immaculate, self-contained, own loo, kettle, etc. Kept all the neighbors sweet, and no deposit or signed contract, all based on trust. waste. They demolished the conservatory, couldn't not do that. They dug out the foundations, the wood offcuts, old light fittings, but they minimized the waste by recovering and using the bricks from the conservatory, went into the base of our extension, exact ordering of materials, transferred the small amount of surplus materials to the next job. Really clever skip management. So if you got this mindset, no matter what size your business is, you can apply it. We do run a program where we help people to work in a simpler, smarter, quicker way. We run it within teams, and it's all about helping people to reduce waste, power up their personal energy, great meetings, get themselves organized, plan the day, and it just brings all this continuous performance improvement into day-to-day life and makes working nicer, funner, and people are a lot more happy in that sort of environment. All of this sort of builds into team pride and passion. There's a strong sense of cohesion and independence within the team. There's a great team spirit with a can-do attitude. They build good relationships through integrity, respect, and sensitivity to differences. Team members enjoy belonging and feel loyal to the team. The team feels that their contribution is valued and recognized by the organization. And one team leads to another, and they work better within the teams, and that becomes the whole organization. And that's the organization that delivers this. Say no more. A small team of rejects. And yet at the heart of that is emotional intelligence. At the heart of that is a real team that works together. At the heart of that is a leader that was humble and fun and warm and emotional. A real wonderful case study of how an emotionally intelligent organization can succeed. So that's how you get the magic from your people. Great leadership, inspiring vision, goals that are well aligned, skills that are developed, continuous improvement mindset, lots of mutual trust. All of that leads into great team pride and passion, great organization team pride and passion. And it's a magical organization succeeding, and people love it. Thank you.